So I'm an author with just one book, and I have had no formal education in literature in either language, and very little learning in school in the language, Sinhala and English, both the languages. But so I cannot really give you any theoretical knowledge of how to write a novel, but what I can give you is all the things that I found helpful when I was writing my novel. Start with a character, give that person something to do, a conflict, a struggle, because that's what keeps a story going. Write out the story and never give up. Those are the main things that you need to do. So when you pick a character, always pick a character, create a character that you could be in love with. The character that you could be best friends with. That way you're going to understand the character so much better. And then give that person a conflict or a struggle, internal or external, that you have empathy with. And then write the story that you would like to read. Write the story that you wish every day you would find on a bookshelf. Expose yourself to storytelling, because when you write a novel, what you're doing is you're telling a story about people. So expose yourself to many forms of storytelling, whether it's visual or not. Read as many books as you can, watch movies, stage plays, just immerse yourself in that, because these forms of storytelling will give you examples of how to tell a story effectively and how not to tell a story effectively. So gather up these ideas, because they are going to be really useful when you're putting your story together. And just write. Don't ever stop. It's easy to start a story, but when you come to the middle, you sort of stop. The author, Donald Miller, once said that writing a story is like pedaling a rowboat to a distant island. When you push off from the shore, you feel that you're making progress. You see the shoreline receding behind you, and you know that you're moving forward. But when you're finally in the middle and you cannot see the shore that you left behind, and you cannot see the island that you're bound for, you feel as if you're not making any progress at all. It is then that you must keep writing. So at this point, forget about all the grammar, forget about the best possible use of words. However lame, however bad it sounds to you, just keep writing. Just keep putting your ideas, just keep writing. Don't ever stop at this point, because this is the point where you have actually made progress. Once you move from this point, your story will really start to take off. And then research your characters by spending time with similar characters in real life. Look out for people who have similar traits and similar professions in real life, and then strike up a friendship, spend some time, understand what makes these people tick, and that will help you in developing and crafting your own characters. And then rehearse your dialogue. Say it back to yourself, say it out loud, act it out. Make sure that your conversation and dialogue does not sound fake. And then, as cliche as it sounds, show, don't tell. Visualize your scene, visualize your characters acting out whatever's going on, and then describe it to someone who cannot say it. That's the best possible way of telling a story. And then relax, take time to observe and notice the small things, such as body language, hand gestures, head movements, the way someone holds their eyes, and also small things in nature, like how the light seems to filter through the leaves of a tree, how it creates a pattern on the ground. These little things lends flavor and authenticity to your writing. And once you have come to the end of your story, however sketchy it sounds, you will come to, it can be a very sketchy edition of your story, but you will come to an end, and then go back to the beginning, read and polish every sentence until it sounds perfect. Flesh out the areas that you feel are sketchy, and spend a lot of time doing this, because this time will be longer than the time it took you to put things together in the first place. And then replace your words, rearrange your paragraphs, rearrange your chapters if necessary, but make sure your story reads well. And finally, get your work edited. It's not easy being in a relationship with an editor, but be ready to defend your work, but be also open to all the ideas your editor is giving you, because obviously an editor is going to be a person who is senior than you in years as well as in experience as well as in education. So please have your work edited.